This is Mrs. Tomlinson, and I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a digital portrait map. And this project is one of the last components of the reflective work of art for the journey that you want to take in your future. Now, you don't have to do this digital portrait map, but this is just a one media arts project and a way that you could actually do this reflective work of art if you wanted to. There are other options though as well. You could also write a poem, draw or paint a picture, create a digital artwork, write a song, create a collage, write a story, create a skit, make an animation or a flip book, or this digital portrait map. This is all also located on the slideshow called Digital Portrait Map. So in the assignment in Google Classroom, you can also have access to every single step-by-step process that we're going to go through. So all the steps are located and written out in this slideshow. So your goal is going to be to use Photopea to create a portrait that combines imagery of a place that you wish to journey to and your portrait. So we're really thinking about, how do artists use place? How do they think of space? How does space influence their artwork? How do they use it in their work? An example that I would like to share with you is artist Ed Fairburn, and he uses maps and he does a lot of cutting and layering. So he is an artist that is really popular for combining these portraits and maps. Here are two samples that I've created. Right here is a street view of, using Google Maps, is a street view of a map, and I used, it's black and white for the portrait and black and white for the map. So this is a much more simplified, kind of more like modern, kind of really simple version. And over here on the right is more of is a little bit more complex, because we have the Google Maps and satellite view on this one, and I kept the color in the photograph and the map. Here's another version of that where there's a satellite view for the map, but the map I turned into black and white, and then my portrait I kept color, and I also added a filter, which I will show you on Photopea. So if you don't want to do the video, you're welcome to bounce out of this and just go through every single step here in the rest of the slideshow. Okay, or if you forget a step, go and use this as a reference. This will really help you. So first of all, you need to have a portrait. So you need to take a self-portrait of yourself and make sure this JPEG is then now on your Chromebook. So you need to, from your phone, you need to upload it to your drive. And now we can go to Photopea, and the links in the slideshow. And then in your Google Chromebook, which what I'm using right now, so I can take you through every single step, just like how you guys will create this. I'm going to go and search into my drive because I shared this picture with myself and put it in my drive. So I'm going to search for the name. And there it is right there. So this is just a portrait that I took. So I'm going to click this, and hopefully then and I think I'm opening that image into Photopea. Okay. Okay, so here's my portrait. Now what I have to do is get the map and the portrait into one workspace right here. So I could open up the map, but then I'm going to see two tabs here. So well, let's get the map first. So let's go back to Google Maps. So you're going to open a new tab here. I'm in Google Maps and I've searched Venice. Okay, that's the place that I really want to visit. And you can move your map around to try to find out what you want. I kind of really want, I want to be right here kind of by this water, because I think the water, the shapes of the water make a beautiful negative space. So I really want to take this little section here. Now there's a lot of stuff going on. You guys might type your stuff in, and you're going to have to go up to the menu icon right here, and make sure you're on satellite and your labels are off. Because if my labels are on, if I change it, then I see all this stuff. I'm going to see the street names and the towns, and I don't want that. So I'm going to make sure the labels are off because I'm using this more as an artistic map instead of a reference map, right? Then I'm going to collapse this and move this around. Now I want to really basically take a screenshot just of this area. So I'm going to hold down Control Shift, and then I'm going to select this button, which I'll take you over here and show you what button that is on my keyboard. Let's go down a couple slides. It's right here. So if you can see this little button right here, it's the square with the two lines. So that means show all open windows button, but you need to hold Shift and Control, and then you'll be able to take a snip of your screen. So I'm going to go Shift Control and press that other open all windows button. And now you can see I'm able to go like this and select and drag, and I'm going to try to not get Google there, but I'm going to drag what I feel like I'd like for my map. All right, and then I took my screenshot, so there it is right there. So now I've got my screenshot. So now I have to bring this screenshot into Photopea as well in order to layer these two images together. So I will go to File, Open, and now it's on my desktop, so it's probably going to pop up and be the most recent one. I'm just going to go to recent here and try to take the first one. Okay, there's my screenshot. So I'm selecting that and I'm going to open that. Now I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go back into my portrait, and then I'm going to do edit, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to allow that. Now you can see I've got two layers here if you look in my layers panel, and that's exactly what I want. Now this map is way too small, so I'm going to make sure I'm highlighted on my map, and I'm going to go up to transform controls. And I always have to hold Shift, or I guess I'm used to holding Shift because I don't want to distort the map. And I'm going to basically layer it right on top of my photograph to the size that I want, basically. Here we go. And then I'm going to click check, and I'm going to select that and accept that transformation. So now it's done that. Now you can't see my background, which is my portrait here, because I it's solid and it's covering that. Okay, so one thing you can do is you're going to adjust the opacity here. So just right now I'm just going to bump that opacity down, and you can kind of see what starts to happen, that you can see that map through my face. And now you're going to kind of think like, I don't know, where do I want my face? Do I want to move this over to the side? So I'm going to kind of go over here, and I'm going to kind of move and play with where I want my portrait. Like I might want it like up over here. I'm not quite sure. I might just kind of leave it center right now here for this project to kind of show you guys what I'm doing. I can also kind of move this around. I might kind of move a little down, so this like kind of upside down Y with the forks is kind of right through my eyes. I kind of like what's happening there. I think it's kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm going to select OK, and I'm going to wait till that confirms. So now what we really want to do is, I might come back to this opacity and change that a little later, but what you want to do is you want to go down right here and add a raster mask to this map. So I'm just going to be selected onto the map, And then I'm going to say add a mask. And now you want to make sure that you've got your black selected. And you're going to click on your paintbrush. And the mask is going to basically let you draw on top or erase and hide and allow it to show through or allow the map not to show through, but you're never ever going to touch the actual photograph of the map. So I'm not going to ever alter the image. So you might want to go to your brushes and you might want to kind of make, you could do a detail brush, you could do a sketching hard brush, or you might want to do a soft mechanical brush. That might be good. And then maybe adjust your size so it's a little bit bigger and you can kind of like see how big that is. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's going to be black because I want to start to reveal more of my face here. And then you can kind of see when I start to move my brush here. And I think I really need a larger size that I've done that. And my hardness is pretty low, which is very good. I have it all the way on 0, and that's kind of what I want. So now I think I'm just going to like start to click and kind of start. And you kind of see how I'm revealing my face just a little bit. And you can kind of see how it works on that layer mask right there. It would be called a layer mask in Photopea. I don't have to take away my whole, I don't know, I kind of like some of this mask showing through some of my face. So I could even leave it right there. I could kind of go down here. You kind of see how I can kind of leave space where I don't have to, I'm not quite sure if I want to get the hair in there. So the cool thing about this is, let's say like I don't like what's happening with the hair right here. I really don't like that. So what I could do is I could flip this, and this actually needs to be white. So I'm going to go to my color picker and make it white and say okay. And then let's say I didn't want that hair. I click white. And it just added it back. Did you see that? So my hair was here, and then I made sure to change that color swatch to white, and then it adds the hair back by doing the layer mask. So now I could really go in and play with this. I could also go into filter here and I could do some filters on my photograph. So that's a whole nother, oh my gosh, huge, gigantic can of worms that you can open and play with. I kind of would just focus more on your piece, like bringing this mask and making it look like these two pieces of work, this portrait and this map, can merge into really one image and be part of each other and look like it was really intentional and planned. So you might have to play with that for a little bit and figure out what you want to do. Remember, the opacity is right up here, right above the layers, and that will help you show more or not so much. Okay, so I can make it so where it's less transparent, and that's where the opacity would be higher. But you kind of don't want that when you're merging. You kind of got to have this nice gentle transparency. So you could see even when we get a little lighter, it actually, even when I go below 60, I'm kind of liking that a little bit more. Okay, so I like mine about like 58. I really like. And it's okay to have some of yourself come through and some of yourself not come through for the digital portrait. It kind of is something you just need to kind of play with and see what you like. Okay, please don't ever hesitate to contact me and leave comments in the Google Classroom to help let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. So when you're done, if you want to export this and turn this in, you'll have to go to File, and then you will have to say Export As, and you can export it as a JPEG. The one thing you have to think about is if you do export it as a JPEG, you will lose your layers. So you won't be able to go back and edit it, but that's okay. So if you're done, you can export it as a JPEG and just upload your JPEG. If you don't want to, if you want to also save it as a PSD document where you can actually bring it back into Photopea and work on it and change the layers and alter it and adjust it, which I probably would recommend doing. It's always great to have a PSD document. I would do both actually. So save it as a PSD and then export it as a JPEG. So if you do want to make changes and you decide to go on later and change it, you can also do that as well. Okay.